I'm going to give you some of the darkest secrets of an app master. You're probably thinking I'm going to tell you some special way to promote your app, or some process, some series of steps you can go through in order to make a successful app. Actually, I'm going to give you the most important advice that you'll probably ever hear, and it's advice that people are rarely given because it doesn't sound cold and clinical. It doesn't appeal to that MBA kind of business school mentality. And the best advice I can give you, the darkest secret of the app master, is simply this: love what you do. So what I mean by that is, if you're creating an app and you love it, and by that I mean you're involved in the creative process, you're proud of what you've made, what will happen is that will come through. That's the nature of art. Art is an expression of love. And again, this is not something a business school is going to tell you. It's not something you're going to read in a kind of business school self-help book. It's not something that's widely publicized, because people recoil from that, don't they? People like the idea of, accumulating money and kind of the financial balance sheet and taking a series of steps to achieve something. And as soon as you say to someone, look, what you need to do is just love this, love the project you're working on, people are like, whoa, what does that mean, love the project? That's not, how am I going to make money if I love it? Love isn't money. Well, what happens is, when you do something with love, when you create an iPhone app or an iPad app with love, and although it sounds like an odd term to be applying to something that's quite kind of in some ways a clinical experience. I mean, you're in front of a computer working in a piece of software called Xcode, and you're using a piece of software called Photoshop to generate the graphics. It does raise the question, how do I create a sense of love when I'm using these kind of cold binary computer programs? And the answer is, you'll feel it. I mean, if you're really enthusiastic about your app and you really enjoy what you're doing, two things will happen. The first is that you'll go into work on this app, and the process won't become a chore. It won't become this kind of feeling in the back of your mind of, oh, is this app going to be good enough? Is it going to make enough money? Will users understand this and that and this? And, what's my marketing plan? The problem with a marketing plan, even the idea of it, is that it instantly puts you in the mindset of deception, of compensating somehow for the absence of the product being able to sell itself. And when a product sells itself, when a product can become popular without marketing, that's generally because it was created with a sense of creative love in the process. So this is something to really think about, because I'm sure a lot of you are probably sat in your chairs there on your computers, mouse in hand, just thinking, what is this guy going on about? Love. What's that got to do with app design? It has everything to do with it. Not only does it make the process better, but trust me, if you create something with love, especially an app, which is a form of art in many cases, especially if it's a game, at the end of the process, that will be obvious in the design. It will be obvious to you, so you'll feel more rewarded by the process. And weirdly, this is the weirdest part about it will feel obvious to the people who look at it. It's something that you can't put down in a list. It's something that you can't really distill, other than to say, feel good about what you're creating, and people who witness what you've created will most likely feel good about it too. And that's the real motivation for buying something, or attaining something, or being drawn towards it is probably a more accurate word. People are drawn towards things that evoke a sense of love. And then the other thing I'd say is, if you find yourself confused about your app, if you're uncertain about whether or not it's going to be a success, try not to picture other people's responses to it, but feel your own response to it. That's your best guide. Good luck.